Hello and welcome back. So today I want to make a fallen arch. Yes, Claire, you say. I've stolen this image from Google, basically a stone arch window frame, okay? But what I want to do is I want it to be like broken. All broken and tumbling down and all that sort of stuff. So I'm trying to find a pencil. What I think we're going to do is we are going to definitely take off all of the bottom. We're going to take off probably that bit of the side. And then we'll take off maybe that bit, and obviously we're going to take out all the wood, sorry, all the wall behind. Now obviously that's going to be quite hard to cut, so I think I'm going to, and I eventually want it in this cardboard, so I'm going to stick it down on here, and then we're going to set to cutting it out. And I've got texture paste, I've got sprays and inks, and we're going to see how we get on. So the first thing, obviously, oh, not that one, it's got no glue in it, Claire. First thing is to get it stuck down. So this is just a standard bit of corrugated card, and I've peeled all the paper off the front. So I'm just going to get some glue on here and get this stuck down. Now ideally I should really have done this before I turned on the camera, so the glue was nice and dry, because we don't really want a huge problem cutting it. So let's just trim around there, because we know we definitely want that off. That gives us a little bit, you know, less to play with. Right. So, okay, now I'm going to take all of this bottom off. So I'm going to use a metal ruler, Claire, because you've got a blade. I'm going to take all of this bottom off. Now, in case you think I've gone a bit balmy, those of you that have been here a while will know that I love grunge, and therefore, right, all of that is coming off, isn't it? So we don't want any of that, so that can all go. I love grunge, and so it actually makes sense to have, you know, this broken fallen archway. Now you could obviously do this with scissors, but I'm doing it with a blade just because I feel like it's going to be easier. That's that one out. Now this one. Now if you've ever, you know, visited any of these historic places throughout the UK, you will know that often the stonework is damaged. If you go to a real ruin, you will, I'm going to take that piece off as well, you will sometimes see, you know, fallen stones and the like. Okay, we want this one out, and obviously you can choose how yours is broken and take out completely different pieces to what I'm taking out, if that's what you choose to do. Okay, I want to keep that central line, and I want all these uprights, but we're going to sort of bring that one round like that. Okay, so and I'm well, not obviously, I am going to be using the other side, so we're not going to see any of this picture. This picture is just to give me a guide as to where to cut. So doesn't really matter that this picture's tearing off, because as I say, I don't want it. I'm using the other side. That one. What I don't want to do is break that little line. Otherwise our archway is going to be more ramshackle than we actually want it to be. And you can see it's starting to get a bit delicate now, so need to be a little bit careful. So how are you all? What have you been up to? We've got a very warm day here today. Sun's blaring. Oh, that one came out well, didn't it? That little bit needs to come out of there. Ah, you see, that's what I didn't want to do. Did not want to break it. Now, fortunately, because I'm going to be using modelling paste, we can actually stick that back together with some paste in a minute. So yeah, be careful. Don't be as rough-handed with it as I am. And obviously you can use this for all sorts of things. You could put it in the background and be viewing through it. I'm actually doing this because I want it to form part of the Roxy's Creations Field Notes journal that I'm stitching at the moment, because I want to be at one of these sort of old chapels or whatever that's all, you know, falling down, and I want to be painting the stitch painting, obviously, the flowers that are around it. Right, so this one now, obviously this little bit, it's just got to take the time that it takes. There's nothing you can do about it. You need to be fairly slow and quite accurate, so as you don't damage it. I've already damaged one piece, so obviously you don't want to damage any more. God, why won't that come out? I think it's this line here. Get rid of that bit of the picture, and then maybe I can see a little bit better. There you go. That's that one. So we've got these bits, and I think I'm going to chop out the whole of that one. I'm going to lose the frame of that one as well. So that's that. And I think we're going to take that bit as well. So it really is, you know, falling down and a bit derelict, but often these things are, you know, a thing of beauty on their own, even when they are derelict like this. Make awesome backdrops. I know film crews love things like this. There you go. And then we're just going to take that bit off there. So from that original picture, that is what I've got left, and this is now going to be my front, as it were. So I'm going to get a little bit of glue on there so that I can stick this back where I want it to be, and by the time I've covered it in texture paste, that's not really going to show anyway. Okay, we're finished with our glue. I'm going to get up a messy bag. You know what it's like once you start messing with stuff. Get the knife out of the way before I cut my fingers off. Okay, so there it is. You can probably hardly see it now because the you know, it's quite small on this bag. So I'm going to pull out a lump of texture paste, like so, and then I'm going to this is forest moss, so we've got a bit of forest moss there. This one is gathered twigs, so we've got green and brown, and then this is the Matint's Nutty. Okay, and then I've got alcohol ink at the end. So if I pick up my texture paste, I can get in here and I can colour some of it. Okay, I'm doing this for two reasons. One, it means I'm not having to add too much colour at the end because there's already colour in it, rather than it being white. And also what that means is we don't get too much moisture on it, because it is only a bit of cardboard, which obviously is very water soluble. And as you can see, I'm just tapping up and down. We have some of this colour now. This is much more of a sort of reddy brown, well, nutty. Because obviously we're trying to create this stone effect. And I'm going back over colours that are already there, making sure I get it all completely covered in the texture paste. Right, now I pick it up. Oh, see, it's separated there as well now. I'll turn it all round this way. Line it back up. That's connected there, that's connected there, and that is connected there. So I just want to get a little bit more on here. The texture paste does take a while to dry, but it's gonna dry nice and solid and robust. It does mean that when I come to put it to my stitchery, that I am actually going to have to stick it rather than stitch, because obviously I'm not going to get a needle through it. Now I think that it's going to be pretty good. Ugh. See, and then I tore it. And just glue it back together. Okay, so obviously need this. You see I'm mixing all the colour together now. I need this to dry, and then we can check the colour. So I'm going to put you on pause. I'm going to get my heat gun on it, and hopefully that has done exactly what I want it to do. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so I'm back, and as you can see, we have now got this shape. Looks like stone. We can see the parts of the window that I used, and it's just a little bit pale for me, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop some alcohol ink onto it, and then I'm going to use the Matisse on top, because the Matisse has got a glaze in it, and you can see this is just gonna, this alcohol ink is just gonna run all over it. And I just love, oops, the way that's colouring that up. Okay, got a paintbrush, so I'm just gonna wiggle it around a little bit so that it's not so definite drops. There we go. That's good enough for me. And then I'm just gonna run over it with this, because as I say, this has got a sealant in it, so as well as being a tint, it's got a sealant, so that'll just seal it all in there. We've got dark and we've got light, and I'm hoping that that now looks like the remains of an abbey or church window. And that's what I'm going to use for one of my pages, as I say, in my stitching journal that I'm currently doing, the Roxy's number 6. But of course, as much as I've made it for that, you could make one of these to use in any journal where you want, you know, a broken down building in your page layout. Lots of us like to sort of have a story that goes with our design rather than just pretty pages. I mean, pretty pages are lovely, but sometimes it's nice to run a story with it as well. I'm sorry about the background noise. I've got the window open when it's hot. There's obviously people outside. So there you go. We're getting this seal on there. That will also obviously make it a little bit stronger. Because there's a certain amount of, you know, sort of plastic in that sealant. It's still a little bit damp because you can see there's areas where it's stuck to my mat, but in the main it's now dry, and then when that dries properly I'll be able to put that on my page and stitch some lovely grasses and all sorts of things around it. There we go. So if you're wanting to make yourself, you know, derelict church window or whatever, there's a fairly easy way of going about it. If you haven't got any texture paste, oh, I've splodged texture paste down there now. If you haven't got any texture paste, you could simply mix in some baby powder or something to some PVA. That would work almost as well. So as always, I thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope you found some joy and inspiration. Stay safe. I'll see you very soon.